I'm Angela Adamson. You have to excuse me because I'm really super nervous right now. But I want to go over Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is the nature of impersonal organization, and the book gives an example of a major and different duties of a manager does throughout the day. His schedule was extremely busy. It shows that his impersonal relationship and his group poses are important to all organizations and managerial duties, or should I say activities. Other aspects of impersonal organization includes impersonal dynamics, which and can give a positive can which can be positive or negative. And this occurs when two people know each other and have mutual respect and affection for one another. Lastly, the nature of impersonal organization, it talks about impersonal behaviors, and it can be a primary source of need for satisfaction for many people. It also serves as a solid basis for a support group. And I forgot to give you the outline, but the outline that I'm going to talk about is the nature of the groups, the types of groups, stages of development, group performance factors, intergroup dynamics, group decision making, and lastly, I'm going to close with the scripture and a question. And on the second slide, you'll see it talks about the nature of the groups. There are many different aspects that determines the nature of a group. And first, I want to define a group. A group is two or more persons who interact with one another in a way that influences each other. So whenever you're part of an organization, it is very important to have a positive members in the group because you feed off of them. So it's good that to have somebody positive in the group that brings something good to the group. Another aspect is understanding the behavior in organization, and that requires that we understand the forces that affect individuals and how an individual can affect that organization within that group. And that statement is basically saying a person's behavior can affect the overall behavior of a group, and also it can also strongly influence the behavior of other group members. Next, on slide 3, the types of group. And there are different types of groups. The first one I want to talk about is formal group, and is established by the organization to do its work. And formal groups can include command or functional groups, task groups, and affinity groups. First, I want to start off by saying command groups. Command groups is characterized by functioning reporting relationships, such as having a group manager or someone who reports to the manager. So it's basically saying that a liaison, someone to speak to the manager and deliver the message, whatever the group talked about. Next, task group is temporary and it is created to perform a task act, such as solving a particular quality problem. Affinity groups are employees from the same level in organization who meets on a regular basis to share information, capture emerging opportunities, and solve problems. And formal groups are formed by members, and it consists of friendships, which are relatively permanent, and interest groups may be short-lived. Friendship groups develop from relationship among members and the enjoyment that they get from being around each other. Interest groups are organized around a common activity or interest, although friendships may develop among members. Mutual acceptance, which is slide 4, the stages of group development. Mutual acceptance is one. Members get to know one another by sharing information about themselves. Communication and decision making. Members discuss their feelings, opinions more openly. They may show more tolerance for opposing viewpoints and explore different ideas to bring about a reasonable solution and decision among the group. Members are trying to figure out one another and they're trying to figure out the norm for the group, meaning the overall atmosphere of the group. Members discuss and they agree on group goals, motivation, and productivity. Emphasis shifts away from the personal concerns and viewpoints to activities that will benefit the entire group. Members work together and perform assigned tasks. They cooperate. They help each other to accomplish each other's goals. And during this stage, the group accomplishes goals and moving forward towards a final stage. So they're moving forward to the ending stage. Whatever they was working on from the beginning, they're moving towards to get that finished. Control and organization. Doing this is the final stage, and the group effectively work towards accomplishing the goals of that group. Group members agree on tasks that they mutually agreed upon. Next, on slide 5, I want to talk about group performance factors. And the different group performance factors include group size, group cohesiveness, and group theme. Group size can be different effect on the group's performance. A group with many members, they come together, they have more resources, they get more done, and they are more can work more independently to get a task done. A larger group can get more produced and more ideas. Interactions and communication are more likely to form in larger groups than smaller groups. Group cohesiveness is the extent to which a group is committed to remaining together in the group. The factors that create cohesiveness of the groups are members that remain in the group and motivation of the group members. So cohesiveness of the group is very important because group members have to remain, they have to agree to stay in that group and get along in that group so they can accomplish a goal to that group. It's a group dynamic. It depends on the characteristics of the group members involved, and it depends on the setting and the task and the situation setting. Group decision making is group polarization, brainstorming, the normal group technique, and group polarization occurs when average group members post discussion as attitudes tends to be more extreme than average pre-discussion attitudes. Brainstorming is intended to solve problems that are new to the organization and have major consequences. It can have major consequences. The normal group technique, group members follow a generic, which is a routine, and they discuss vote cycle until they reach a decision. And the question that I have for you is based on what you have learned in this chapter, what about groups do you think is an aspect of a group and how it can be beneficial to the overall group? And I just want to leave you with the scripture because I was so nervous. So I went to the scripture and it has encouraged me. And it says, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer and believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Mark 11th chapter, 24th verse. The next scripture that encouraged me is God created you to do amazing things. Ephesians 2nd verse, 10th chapter. And just please bear with me. And I hope I did the best I can to get the information across in this PowerPoint because I was super nervous. I never done anything like this before. And so far, it's been a joy communicating with you all. And thank you. And you all have a blessed day.